welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been with us before, welcome back. And if you just live by, saw the title, and decided to click on it, welcome. And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Today's video, now that I got all that out, we're going to talk about today's video. Just like the title said, Rupaul saved our life after old boy got knocked out. Ooh, let's talk about it. Alright, we're going to talk about it. I know. The title sounds crazy. Doesn't sound believable, but it is. I'm telling you, it was a wild night. So let's talk about it. If you've been on Travel Buddies before, you know we do everything travel. Tips, tricks, story times, everything travel, right? So of course, we did some traveling. So, this happened, I want to say about 20 years ago. Yeah, don't talk about it. We're going to talk about it. It was about 20 years ago. And what happened was one of my coworkers, I had moved to Atlanta from the Big Easy. And if you know what the Big Easy is, yes, it's New Orleans. So I used to work in this office, and my coworker, when she found out I was from New Orleans, every day was always, oh, we need to go back to New Orleans. We need to go with you to New Orleans. We need to go with you to New Orleans. So we always talked about her coming back and going to New Orleans. Well, I was like, well, I would love to take you back to New Orleans, but I don't just be taking everybody back to New Orleans because people don't know how to act when they come to my city, right? So I kept saying it. She was like, well, if you take me back to New Orleans, eventually one day I'll take you to my home where I'm from. And I was like, okay, because back then when I lived in Atlanta, you could barely find people that lived in Atlanta. Nobody was claiming Atlanta like people claiming Atlanta now, okay? It was right after the Olympics and nobody wasn't trying to claim Atlanta. So she wasn't from there either. So we laughed about it. We always talked about it and always made jokes about it, but she always wanted to go. So this particular weekend, we decided, you know what? We get off of work early on Friday. Let's go ahead and go to New Orleans. So her husband was coming as well. Her brother was coming, and her brother's fiance was coming. Now I'm about to give y'all all names of everybody. Y'all ready? Let's go. Because this weekend, it was me and hubby. Let me call my coworker Feisty. Because Feisty, she was feisty little thing. She was a feisty little Asian girl. And when I tell you she was feisty, she was feisty. We'll be ready to roll up in a minute. Her husband, we're going to call him ex-Marine, because he always talked about going to the Marines. And and he was really tall and always talked about going to the Marines. And her brother was in the Marines, and his fiance was also in the military. So, but we just gonna call her brother and brother fiance, and we're gonna call him Marine since he wanted to be in the Marines. We're not gonna call her brother Marine. We're gonna call her brother. We're gonna call her husband Marine because he always wanted to be in the Marines, and her feisty. And of course, it was me and hubby. So we had been talking about it all week. She was ready. She was gung ho. So she was like, you know what? Friday, I'm gonna leave work at 2:30. I'm gonna go meet her husband, her brother, and his fiance at the house. I said, okay. Hubby was gonna pick me up from work. I already was gonna put my suitcases in the car, and we were gonna head to the house. We had all that planned out. I was like, all right, cool. So, hubby picked me up at 2:30. We go straight to her house. She left work at 2 as well. She was supposed to leave at 3, but she left at 2. And our boss was like, everybody's just leaving the office like this? And we was like, hey, calm down. We got our work done. It's going to be all right. We cool. We chilling. We all right. So she was like, okay. So all our the office staff, everybody was real cool. So if people left early, like anybody would take your slack on, anything going on. But it was pretty quiet. It was pretty chill, pretty quiet. So we go ahead and me and hubby go and meet her at their house. We get to their house. Hubby's like, helping her husband get the bags and her brother, get everybody's suitcase or whatever. I go inside the house with Feisty because Feisty's like, come in, come in. I go in Feisty's house. And Feisty is pre-gaming, right? Feisty is, I'm ready. I'm ready. We about to turn up. We about to turn up. That's what she was doing. That's her little dance. We about to turn up. We about to turn up. So Feisty was just, she was just ready. She was so ready to go to New Orleans. That was her big dream, to go to New Orleans. And her sister-in-law was like, she was like really reserved, really quiet girl. So she was like, is she gonna be okay? She's been drinking since I got here. I got here right at about 2:15. Now mind you, me and hubby wasn't that far behind them. So we got there maybe about 2:45, maybe 2:50. But we wasn't that far behind them. So for Feisty's sister-in-law to be like, are you sure she's gonna be okay? And I'm like, we're gonna be on the road. She's probably gonna pass out and go to sleep anyway. And she was like, okay, because she's been taking them back pretty hard. And I was like, Spicer's going to be okay. She's going to be okay. So she's like, hey, Key, come on, take some shots. So I took a shot with her. Not a big drinker, but I took a shot with her. And her sister-in-law was like, okay, I'll take one. But she's been taking them back. And I was like, it's fine. It's fine. We're going to be okay. So her husband, her brother, and my husband was like, yes, we ain't gonna take that much alcohol. Well, my husband couldn't because he was the designated driver. So we all go and finally get in the car after Feisty has been taking back the shots. Like literally, when I got there, she had a full bottle of tequila, and the time we left, like the bottle of tequila was like this, and I had a shot. Her sister-in-law had a shot. And when her husband and his brother came in, she demanded that they take a shot. And she was trying to get hubby to take a shot, but he was like, I gotta drive. Like, nobody gonna drive on the road. We not going. And once he said we wasn't going, because she was saying, you need to take a shot. And once he said, I take a shot, we not going. Like, we gonna be here. And she was like, oh, no shot for you. So we laughed. So Feisty went ahead and was taking her shots back. So she went to take the bottle to get in the car. Amber was like, you just got that little bit of shot left. You don't need to take the bottle and get in the car. And she was like, you're right. I'm not. So we all going to get in the car. So she was like, wait, I forgot one thing once we all got in the car. So she runs out and she goes back into the house. After we finally get out of the house, she goes back into the house. So when she goes back into the house, she comes back out with 2 bottles of tequila. And we like, really, Feisty? And she's like, well, I'm not going to drink it. I'm just going to have it for the hotel. So it was like, okay, Feisty. So by this time, it's almost 4 o'clock. Okay? Because Feisty's been drinking. And Feisty, and that was the only bottle I saw. But her husband said she had another bottle previous to that. Now, I don't know how long she's been drinking because we were, like I said, we were literally right behind her. Okay? But she didn't want everybody to leave until everybody was, liquored up. But we wasn't trying to drink no more. Everybody was trying to go. So we go and everybody loads up in the car. By this time it's 4 o'clock. So hubby was like, man, we only gonna be there and we have to see family. When we go home, we have to see family. So he's like, man, the time we go home, it's gonna be wee hours in the morning. And I was like, well, we'll just see family tomorrow. And he was like, well, we're going to go sightseeing with them and everything. He was like, I'm going to tell my mama to stay up. And I was like, okay, my mom must stay up too. So we get on the road. Now, mind you, it's 7 hours, right? So we're like, okay. So we get on the road. Hubby had already filled up the car and everything. So we on the road. As we're on the road, Feisty, I have to use the bathroom. Can we stop? Just pull over. Or actually, I could just pee in the car. Anybody has a cup? And we're like, feisty, this is not what you're going to do. Oh, man. So we pull over to the side of the road. Because hubby was going to pull. He was like, I'll pull at the next rest stop. No, I have to pee. So he pulls over to the side of the road. So it was like, so her husband was like, I'm going to just walk you a little bit into the woods so you can use the bathroom. No, I have to pee right here. So she squats and pees on the middle. I'm sorry, y'all. It's kind of vulgar. But she just used the bathroom on the side of the freaking road. So by this time, everybody's like, okay, literally, we have not even left Atlanta. Okay? We hadn't even left. But I was working that time in Cobb County. So I was north Atlanta a little bit, like kind of, I don't know what part it is. Anyway, and so we hadn't even left. Like literally, we was pulled over on the side of 75. Okay? 75, 85. We was pulled on the side of the road. So, and you know how deep Georgia Patrol don't be playing. Okay? So he finally gets her back in the car. Because by this time, Feisty is like, whoa, we're about to have a good time. Whoa! So we like, Feisty, calm down. Calm down. We going to get there. Calm down. So Feisty is screaming and hollering. So we start to get on the road again. As we get on the road this time, Feisty says, I'm hungry. We didn't even eat lunch today, Key. I said, no, we didn't. I said, but when you get to New Orleans, you're going to get that good old New Orleans cooking. It's going to be good. Well, I'm hungry now, and I need something to eat now. So literally, hubby was like, if we don't get out of Georgia in the next 30 minutes, I'm turning back home. I'm turning back around and we're going home. And we'll try this again tomorrow. That's what he told Feisty's husband. And he was like, no. Let's just go. Let's just go. We'll find her something further on the road. So we start driving again. I don't believe this. This is stupid. This is stupid. I'm hungry now. I'm hungry now. So her husband's like, hold on, babe. Hold on. So her brother reaches in his bag and he hands her out a granola bar he had in his bag. And he was like, here, eat this and we'll get something once we get closer in. What is this? How the F I'm going to eat this? So she was like, you know what? Y'all right. If everybody wants to act like that with me, y'all are right. So she opens up the tequila and she takes a shot. So we like, Feisty, calm down, baby. Calm down. Like, you can't go acting like this. I'm not acting like anything. I just think this is wrong. Nobody wants to stop and get me food. And I'm hungry. So I turned to hubby and I was like, look, let's just stop and get food. He was like, look, time we get there, it's going to be 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, literally. And I was like, yeah, just stop so she can get something to put on her stomach. So he was like, fine. So we see a McDonald's. So he pulls over and we go to McDonald's. We get into McDonald's and Feisty goes into McDonald's. Her and her husband went into McDonald's. Me and hubby was sitting in the car and her sister-in-law, her brother also went in and it was like, which, I'm going to get y'all food because, y'all driving and y'all taking y'all vehicle, whatever. What do y'all like to eat? So we gave him our order and he was like, okay. So he gets out and his fiance was like, she was just going to stay there because, she's just over Feisty right now. And my husband was like, yeah, I can't deal. And I was like, I can't believe she acting like that. I told her we not coming to New Orleans acting like this. So, Feisty and them comes back. When they come back, her husband has her picked up and walking her back to the car, and she's screaming and fighting him, and so they bring her back to the car after 5 minutes. So she gets back in the car, and he was like, I do want to apologize. And my husband was like, you need me to turn back around? Like, we can always turn back around. Like, we're not about to do this the whole ride. And he was like, no, we gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. So he, because she was still standing out the car when he was getting in the car. And she got in the car. She was like, I can't believe her. I just can't believe her. She took somebody's order before she took my order. And so he was like, babe, because she was standing on the side. She was there before us. She was not there before us. So she just started screaming at him. So he was like, babe, calm down, calm down. She was like, I can't believe you. You're such a punk. You don't even take up for me. You're such a punk. And so he's like, babe, I'm not going to keep taking this abuse. And so my husband turns around, because at this point, he had 10. He turns around, he said, we going home. And she was like, no, 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 no. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sitting in the back and putting my finger on my lip, and I'm not saying anything. And my husband said, if you say one more word, we're going back home. And he was like, bruh, I'm sorry that, but I can't do this all the whole way riding. And he was like, yeah, I told her, thank you, no problem, no problem. So she sits in the back, and her brother comes back with everybody's food. He gets in, he gives everybody their food, and we started getting on the road. As we're on the road, Feisty falls asleep. So, everybody's listening to music, and, we on the road, we going. So we finally get to New Orleans. We get to New Orleans, and we all go to check in our hotel, because we actually was going to be tourists with them during this stay, because we wanted to show them our city. So we go ahead and we check in and everything, and we decide, I call my mom. She's like, she up, she waiting to see us. So me and hubby gets back in the car, even though it's like 2:30 in the morning. We go to my mom's house. We see her. His mom is sleeping. So we was like, well, we'll go and see her tomorrow morning. So we see my mom, and we decide, you know what, let's head back to the hotel. So we get back to the hotel, and I think it's about almost 4 in the morning. So we get back to the hotel. Hubby is dead dog tired. Like, he's done for. He worked that morning. He's tired. He was like, whatever we could do tomorrow, we'll do it, and we'll get back on the road, because he has to get back. He had to be back to work on Sunday at 2. So he was like, we'll get back on the road late Saturday night, and we'll just head back home. So whatever we can do tomorrow, we'll do, but we're going to bed. So we get back to the hotel. We go in our room and everything, and I called to make sure they're okay or whatever, if they sleep and stuff like that. So I called Feisty's phone, and she answers the phone. Hey, look, we went and got food. We went to this great, great, great restaurant in the French Quarter, I believe. And I was like, yeah, that's where we at, because we was actually staying at a hotel at the end of Canal Street, which is called the Western. And so we were staying there, so it wasn't too far from Bourbon Street and we were in the French Quarter. So and she was like, oh my God, and we got to go, we passed Cafe Du Monde, but we're not going to get Cafe Du Monde until tomorrow morning, but we were just waiting for y'all to get back, because we're ready to hit Bourbon. And I was like, do you see what time it is? She was like, yeah, it's like crowded out there, right? We're going to Bourbon, so come on, take us to Bourbon. And I was like, okay, hubby, they want to go to Bourbon. And he's like, not tonight. Tonight we are not going to Bourbon. Tonight we are not going to Bourbon. And I was like, hubby don't want to go. And I was like, but hubby, we brought him all the way down here. Like, we have to be the hostess with the mostest, right? And he was like, you could be the hostess with the mostest. I did my part. I drove your feisty coworker down here. You can hang out with him. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to call it a night. She was like, Key, like, I'm all the way out here. I've been waiting to come to New Orleans. We already not going to be here a whole weekend. At least we can do is go to Bourbon tonight, because we're going to have to get on the road Saturday. And I was like, you know what? You're right. Let's go to Bourbon. Stay tuned for part 2 of what happened to us on Bourbon and how Rupaul saved our life.